Mozambique, a country you don't often cover on this program. It may have missed a May 23rd deadline for the state-owned Mozambique Asset Management company to make an interest payment on a $535 million loan. Bloomberg is quoting a source tonight who indicates that the country may have failed to honor a $178 million interest payment, despite an extended grace period that lapsed on Thursday. Talks about rescheduling the loan from Russia's VTB bank to the state-owned company have faltered. Donors are now demanding that Mozambique makes full disclosure of the state of public finances before they can resume aid that was withdrawn after the government admitted to hiding over $1 billion worth of debt. Now, there also are fears that the country could default on its other obligations, including a $727 million Eurobond due January 2023 and a $622 million loan made to a state-owned company, Proindicus. Daniel Ranges is live in Washington, D.C. He's been keeping tabs on these developments from that city. He joins us now live from that location. Daniel, the yields on the country's Eurobond soared to over 17% on Thursday. What have they been like today?
Well, a slight improvement, as to my calculations, just under 17%. So a slight improvement in conditions there. But when you take anything like a zoom out, you see that over the last few weeks and months, this has been a precipitous decline, not only in the market's assessment of the value of any Mozambican debt, but also, of course, they are battling against a precipitous drop in their own value of their own currency. So it's a double whammy in terms of the way in which their capacity, as it were, to be able to repay all of this debt.
Indeed, between the default on the loan by this company, the Mozambique Asset Management firm, and this extra $1.35 billion of undisclosed debt, where does this leave the debt sustainability analysis the IMF did last year? I mean, at face value, it looks like it's in tatters right now.
I think that's a fair assessment. Because the fact is that the IMF is saying that it simply didn't know about many of these loans. So it's torn up the entire assessment, suggested that after the spring meetings, the Finance Ministry has come forward with a lot more information. So it does appear to be armed with a lot more information about the debt. But it is going back to Mozambique next month in order to make a better assessment. Because even if they have the raw data on the debt, they need to know a lot more about how that debt is being used. Will it be used to help the company grow itself out of trouble? We all know that one of the main sources of income is natural gas. But have they been investing this money wisely in order to help them towards a more sustainable situation? I think over the next few weeks and months, the IMF is going to play a crucial role in trying to establish whether there is a sustainable picture going forward in what appears to be an increasingly complex conundrum for this country.
Indeed. One final question for you, Daniel. Bloomberg reporting today that the country's donors are demanding not just a complete accounting of all debt, but they also want to open up the books and the shareholding structure of these two state-owned enterprises right at the heart of this undisclosed debt, MAM, which we've spoken about before, and Proindicus. The question, I guess, at this point is, how do we move beyond this debt crisis? How do we solve it decisively?
Well, it's clear, isn't it, that what the financial institutions are saying is that there's been a lack of transparency. I think there is a legitimate question to fire back at them as to why they didn't do their homework in the first place and issued billions of dollars of debt without completely understanding the finances of these governmental organizations and what they were going to exactly do with the money. Remember, there was lots of confusion about whether much of this money was going to be invested in a tuna fishing fleet or whether it went to financing some military vessels. I still think there's a huge amount of confusion as to where this money has actually gone. So that's the first step. But once you get beyond that, the private sector's demanding much, much higher yields on any renegotiated debt. That clearly now is going to become increasingly sustainable unless they can provide a certainty to the market. I don't think they can do that on their own. Therefore, as I say, the IMF must now play a crucial role in trying not only to make this system much more transparent, but to establish that it won't happen again, and also to probably establish some kind of new debt arrangement in order to ensure that there isn't even more slippage than we've seen in the last few weeks and months. Back to you.
Indeed, and we'll of course be looking as well as the reputational damage coming out of Mozambique too. We'll leave it there for the time being. That's Dan Loranges, of course, live in Washington, D.C.